Good morning, brothers. Cecil Pusley. I'm coming to you from Lafayette, Louisiana, in the beautiful Diocese of Lafayette. I want to share an insight that really comes from a last Sunday's Mass during the homily. Of course, Father was talking about the season of Lent, etc. But he also mentioned this concept that really caught my attention. And that is when we wake up in the morning and our eyes open, we view the world. And there are certain images and thoughts that come into our brain, into our thought process on how we're going to conduct ourselves probably that day. What path are we going to follow? And he brought up the fact that it's not uncommon to have the three P's be the things that we focus on when we first view the outside world after waking up from sleep. And the three P's he defined to be pleasure, possessions, and pride. We could focus on one or all three of those. Pleasure is not necessarily a bad thing, but there are certain pleasures that does separate us from God. And if that's one of the things that we'll be focusing on that day, then that really is something that will take us away from God and away from our path. Possessions, we have to put those in perspective. The Lord is very good to us. And we can't set possessions as the main focus of our path with Christ. And of course, pride is something that I think sometimes we all suffer with. I try to read the Litany of Humility at least once a week. Very, very, very difficult prayer for me to read, but something that I need to do frequently. And then we could also vision when we wake up, we could focus on humility. Giving it up to God. Humility, hunger. We could focus on hunger in respect of hungry for walking the path that God wants us to walk. Hungry for having that as our driving force for the day. And so there are things that I'm trying to condition myself that when I wake up and I finish with my morning prayers, I try to set in perspective, what am I going to focus on that's going to help me in my path, help me lead the life that God wants me to lead, and focus on trying to strive for those goals that day. So we have some control. We have some control, a lot of control over our thoughts and over our direction. But I am trying during the Lenten season to focus my early morning when I first wake up to face the world. How am I going to conduct my activities, my desires, my habits, and I'm going to try to steer away from the three P's in large measure if I think that they're leading me away from God, and concentrate on those things that are more based in humility, penance, almsgiving for this Lenten season. So I'm going to end this short video with the thing that I usually end it with, and that is I am praying for those intentions that you have made known to me. And I do have that list. I pray for those intentions that you have elected to keep close to your heart, which there are some that we all do. And I have prayers for that. The one thing that I ask is that in your daily day, if you can remember me and pray for those things for me. Thank you so much. God bless, and have a great week coming up and a great Lenten season.